This is Jerry with Jerry's Retirement Wisdom. This afternoon I'm going bank fishing down at the local lake. And I happen to know that the shoreline's pretty hard and it doesn't take a stick or stake very well to hold your rod. So what I'm building is what I'm calling the ultimate bank fishing rod holder. It won't need to be pressed into the ground and it'll have the luxury of carrying your fishing gear. Once you come along as we build our rod holder, and at the end of the video we'll take it down to the lake shore and I'll show you how it works. We've got 2-inch PVC Schedule 40 and it's 24 inches long, and we've got 1.5 inch PVC the same length, 24 inches. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come back 3 inches from the end of our 2-inch PVC and we're going to make a mark. Now from the other end we need to come back 8 inches, but we need to be 90 degrees to that mark. So what we need to do is to make sure that we're 90 degrees to that mark, we need to turn it up so that the mark is on the side. And we're going to come back 8 inches and mark our 2-inch PVC. This mark needs to be very precise, so if you don't get exactly 8 inches on both of these marks, you end up with a crooked cross member. So there we have 8 inches. Now we turn completely down with our red parallel line at 90 degrees here. And we're going to make another 8-inch mark. When we're ready to drill, we're going to drill through here, and the same thing on the other side. Through here. Those two marks are at 90 degrees to the 3-inch end. What we're going to use to drill our hole into our PVC pipe is a hole saw. I've tried using a Forstner bit, spade bit, all of those, and I found the way to get the most precise and clean hole is to use a hole saw. And these come in a kit typically where you have all different sizes, and to change out your sizes you just use a wrench and loosen the nut on the back side, and then you can change these. And what we're wanting today is a hole saw that's pretty much the same or just a bit bigger than the 1.5 inch PVC that we're going to be drilling for. So that we have our hole saw ready. Drop our center point down in there. Make sure that goes in. And then tighten this nut down. That's really all it is to changing our hole saw out. Then we'll need to cut our holes. This hole in the back, when we cut it, we want to get it started, but we want it to lean as we cut through. So let's get a pilot hole started, and it's going to be just a bit smaller than that one so we can center up, and then we'll get these holes drilled. You can tell by holding the pipe in your hand that you're centered in the pipe from looking from up above. You can roll the pipe back and forth to make sure you're at the center of the pipe. I decided to make my hole 3.5 inches from the end, so we'll note that in our directions. But remember, this hole, once I get it started, needs to lean towards the front of our pipe. So as we drill, we'll get it started and then we'll lean it. We have our holes drilled. All we need to do is take a file and we can clean up the edges, and that looks pretty good. Pretty much the easiest way to clean these edges is to use a sort of a half round file. I'm gonna clean this right up. We've got that, and our 1.5 inch pipe slides neatly right inside here. Next thing we need to do is we're going to cut a 6-inch piece off the end of our 1.5 inch PVC pipe, right about 6 inches. So let's get that completed. And what I'm going to use to cut that, this is a Japanese saw. They're really thin, curved, and sharp, but why I like to use them for PVC instead of a hacksaw or some other method is the wide blade cuts a really straight cut. If you follow me, you've seen me use this on a lot of videos, but if you're new, this is a Japanese saw. Actually cuts on the pull instead of the push like a US saw. But it cuts a really nice straight cut in PVC. That's why I really like to use it. And it's fast too. Let's test fit our pieces. We've got the short piece that's going in the 3-inch in and actually has that angle we were looking for to hold our fishing rod. And then this piece is going to be our cross piece, and the whole thing's going to sit on the ground like this. So that's looking really good. We're going to have caps on this end and this end. And since I'm using this for storage, I want this 1.5 inch PVC to be able to slide inside our 2-inch piece, so I couldn't use a conventional half on the 1.5 inch PVC. But after some experimentation, I found out that these 1-inch caps work beautifully on the end. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a couple holes in here and put a piece of paracord through it so that if they happen to get stuck and I couldn't get it loose, I can use that paracord to yank that free. Before I put holes in my caps, I decided they stick out too far. Every bit of space inside there is storage space. So I'm using these backwards anyway. I think I'm going to cut each of these off about halfway down before I put the holes in them. And that's going to help me save some space, and my caps will go on better on my 2-inch pipe. So I'm going to stick them in the end here of my 1.5 inch PVC, and we're going to cut each of those off. Got my end caps cut off. I'm just going to drill a hole in each end. I've got my holes drilled in my caps, Now I just need a piece of paracord, and it doesn't need to be a foot long, maybe about 6 or 8 inches. And we're going to need 2 of those. With paracord, you know, you take your lighter and you seal up those ends or they tend to unravel. Make sure you get the end that you cut. I push my paracord through my cap, and these are actually 1-inch caps. I've drilled just a bit smaller than a 1/4 inch hole, and I'm actually using these caps backwards. So putting our caps in this way. This little piece of paracord may not be needed so long as I can get that loose, but if it ever gets too tight, I can use the cord to help me loosen that cap. And it does make it easier to grab a hold. So I'm using the caps backwards. Alright? And then we'll just put our cord in the other one and we're good to go there. So there, we're good to go. I've used 1-inch pipe caps. I've cut them off, turned them around backwards and put a piece of paracord in them, and they fit nicely right into the inside diameter of that 1.5 inch PVC, so I can use them as a cap. So I had one final thought. To make it easier to carry my ultimate bank fishing rod holder, I might want to use a piece of paracord as a handle. And I think I'll make 2 holes on each end. The reason I'm going to do that is I want to feed my paracord down through my hole and then back out through it, so that I put my knot on the outside and it won't interfere with the 1.5 inch pipe sliding into my fishing rod holder. And then we'll just tie a little bowline knot here. Hold that on there. Okay. And that's got our ultimate bank fishing rod holder completed. We finished the construction phase of our ultimate bank fishing rod holder, and let's see how much we can put in our onboard storage. I picked these jewelry tubes up from Hobby Lobby, and you can put hooks, beads, sinkers, that sort of thing in there, and it fits nicely inside our tube. Cap on there. If you don't like the smell of fish on your hands, you can put a little water in one of these bottles with some vinegar, and that'll slide right down in our storage tube. Carry a flashlight. I've got my line cutter, little crazy glue, even carry a bobber or 2. Put a cap on the other end, and there we go. Now here's space that we might be wasting. This other tube can be holding something, so I'm going to roll up a rag. It's always nice to have something along with you so you can wipe your hands on it if need be. So we'll just put that in this short tube. Alright, now take our 2-inch pipe, slide in our 1.5 inch pipe with onboard storage. We got our short piece of pipe with our rag and put our cap on. And there you have it. You got onboard storage inside your ultimate fishing rod holder. So to set it up, take off your cap, remove your short piece, remove your 1.5 inch piece, slide it in here. You've got your short piece right here, and then you just put your fishing rod right in there. And that's how it's going to work. Let's take this down to the bank and give it a try. This has been Jerry with Jerry's Retirement Wisdom. Today we built the ultimate bank fishing rod holder with onboard storage enough to hold all of these items. If you like my videos, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. If you'd like to see some more of my videos, just click right there. We'll see you next time.